Hey there, welcome to the Working Actor on Casting Workbook. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Thursday. That means we have another working actor to inspire all of you who are tuning in. And today is going to be really special because it's all about you guys, the working actor, and how we are going to develop some skills to perfect your craft and also get you through those audition processes, right? Because we're all at home right now. We're all doing self-tapes. And have I got two incredible women who are going to help you become a better actor just by today's working actor session. So I want to introduce you to Anna LaMadrid and Alyshia Ochse, who are here to tell us how we can be on the next level, elevating our craft here on the Working Actor today. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here.
We're
Yeah,
excited
thanks
to
for
have
having me.
you. We are so excited to have you because you guys have developed so many new, tips and classes and coaching strategies for actors out there. And it all stems from the fact that both of you are such great actors. So we do what we know, right? We say what we know, and you guys have kind of created this community where people tune into your knowledge and ace their auditions. So let's start with the Bridge for the Actors. It's this new innovative online actor training program, which is founded by the both of you, and it's designed to kind of help actors develop their craft, let them know more about tech, and develop their business savvy mind, which I love. So how did this come about?
Alyshia heard about me in a podcast. We started working together, and I think in 2020, we taught our first class together and found that we had very different ideas, but sort of came together and landed in the same place. One of the things that I did, I started Put Me on Self-Tape in 2017. I was coaching actors specifically for self-tape auditions. And so when the pandemic came, we saw that there was a need for actors to sort of get into the learning curve of the tech that self-tapes require. And so I started building tech courses. When Alyshia came on, we were like, well, there's also craft that needs to be addressed. And there's also like business, because there really wasn't a space that really offered holistic training. You had to go here for like a branding workshop, and then here for scene study, and then here for a specific audition workout. And we wanted to put it all in one place. My training was very traditional. I went to a conservatory, I went to grad school, and I graduated feeling like I was ready to be on set, and then quickly learned that I was missing a ton of tools before I could actually be a working actor. And that's what we provide.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that also the podcast that I have was called That One Audition. That One Audition, we never really hear about the audition process, or we didn't pull back the curtain. You didn't get to see how other actors auditioned. And Anna coming out of conservatory was one perspective, right? Like you get armored with all this craft stuff, but then you don't know how to implement it. I came out here and was trying to figure out how to get on set, how to learn, and I was going to so many different acting studios, but nobody was focusing on the audition part of it. So I really wanted to, we really are, the Bridge for Actors is to take you from being a student of acting, however you're studying your acting, to being a working actor. And the three pillars that you have to do to be a working actor today. You can't just focus on craft. You can't just focus on tech anymore. And nobody ever really lays out the foundation of what it takes to stay in this business, not a job, but actually create a career. And that's why we really wanted to blend all this. And you never lose your investment. That's a big thing with us being online. We're with you 24/7. You can look for insights at any time, anywhere. If you're in the middle of the night feeding your baby and you want to like work on something, you can do that. If you're on set in Bulgaria and you're like, wait, hold on, how do I do this? My coach isn't available. It's all right there. We want you to be empowered as an actor, not dependent as an actor.
I love that. We talk to so many people on the working actor, and I feel like there are very few people who use the word we want actors to feel empowered. And I love that because it's coming from the both of you who have such an amazing background in the industry. So you're really speaking from the heart and from experience. If you don't know her already, Alyshia is known for her role in HBO's True Detective, and she also hosts the One Audition podcast. So she's got a wealth of knowledge when it comes to, booking the audition and self tapes. And then coupled with Anna's experience, and you've seen her on the rehearsal on HBO, and she knows all about auditioning and coaching and stage life and all that. So the two of you combined make a really great team. So tell me a little bit about first your backgrounds in acting and why you decided to kind of dedicate some of your time to coaching and helping working actors. Let's go with you, Alyshia.
Oh gosh. So I've always wanted to be an actor, right?
Yeah.
But I was more focused on sports for a long time. And then, like many people's journeys that are the work ethic of being an athlete really transitioned when my career ended into being an actor. So I was like, what do I need to do? And not to date myself, but I was in the middle of Kentucky. I didn't have the resources to understand what it means to be a working actor. If you can see it, you can be it. I wasn't seeing working actors around me. So I got out here and I hit the ground running. I trained with every person imaginable in Los Angeles and New York. And I started working at about 23 years old. So, we're rounding over 20 years. A lot of my experience has been on set, has been networking and understanding how this business works from the inside. Thankfully, I've been able to kind of get paid to go to school, right? What does it mean to be an actor? I love storytelling. I absolutely love people and their journeys. A random audition that left me very vulnerable, I shared in class. And then I realized a lot of other people were having the same kind of vulnerabilities in the audition process. And if we could kind of pull back the curtain on that, look at how many great talents could ride the wave and stay in their careers for a long time. I didn't have cheerleaders. I didn't know how to have cheerleaders. I had to be my best cheerleader for something that I feel so passionately about. So, and I feel a great honor being able to turn around and also give mentorship to people that are in the position that I was in 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or I'm currently in right now. I wanted to create a community where we could all come together, where we're not alone, because it's a very lonely process to be at home, especially even more so now that we're self-taping.
Right.
Community is everything for a creative, and we need to understand all the different assets that allow a creative to succeed. And I had not heard many people talking about this. So the podcast for me and getting to get mentored by so many other actors in this industry allowed me to see the void that was present.
Mhm.
And I felt compelled to fill it, because also that's what I was lacking. So now I know how to communicate with my team. Now I know how to get on set and network. Now I know how to um, be the most of service. That sounds so cheesy, but like service to the story as an actor,
Yeah.
service to my fellow community people, actors. And Anna and I really teach from a holistic place. And that's what was lacking for me in my early on training. And sometimes not anymore. I found my community, right? I found who can really help support me in this. Um, and I've had the ability of getting on a lot of beautiful sets. And now at 20 years in, I can turn around and say to people, it is your investments in your relationships. It is your investment in your craft that will sustain you in a career. And it's really amazing to, like, I just got off set a couple weeks ago. I'd worked with the wardrobe girl 10 years ago. I'd worked with the DP 2 years
Oh,
ago. It
great.
is it is a family business. So you just have to stay the course.
There was so much that you said in there that I want to kind of go back to, because there was a lot of information that I hope that you would kind of share and elaborate a little more on. But let's talk about being your best cheerleader, especially when it comes to auditioning, and especially in today's world where everyone is self-taping. You have to be your own best cheerleader, right? Anna, talk a little bit about your experience with acting, but also how your experience helps the actor overcome that loneliness when you're doing the whole self-taping by yourself, and giving them the confidence to give them that cheerleading aspect to help them continue to support themselves.
I came from the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm an immigrant. I came to the US when I was 8 years old. My family really wanted me to be either a doctor or a lawyer. So I compromised and went into advertising because I was like, I still want to be involved in entertainment. And if I
Right.
can't be in front of camera, I'll be behind it. So
Mhm.
for a long time, I worked in corporate culture. And it wasn't, like, if you can see it, you can believe it, until I saw one of my classmates from undergrad in a commercial, that something sparked for me. And I feel like for me to live the American dream is to live my passion, not the expectations of what were put on me. And so I started taking acting classes. I did a 2-year conservatory in New York that was Meisner focused. Spent some time in New York before going to grad school. So I did a 3-year program. And part of our program was to be a teaching assistant for 2 semesters, where I got to sort of practice coaching and helping actors, and found something really opened up when I could be of service to other people. It not only deepened my process, but I found myself getting into flow really easily. So it was just like a spark of opening that I was like, oh, that's interesting. Never thought that I would do this. And then when I came to LA, the first year was really bumpy. You come out of school with such confidence, feeling like I'm ready to take the world by storm. And then you find that the industry very much sits you down and puts you in your place.
Yeah.
And it took me a few years to recover. A lot of the confidence that I had built in school was taken away by one bad coach and one awful agent meeting. And that's when I realized the importance of community. I didn't want anybody to feel disempowered in how they show up. And that's why I was so grateful to find Alyshia, because we both had the same need to sort of support other actors. I love tech. My previous life was being a web designer. I've always been a techie person. So teaching people how to feel comfortable within a tech medium, because that's what film and TV is. It's highly technical. A lot of the times when you're on set, if something goes wrong, it's not your performance. It's that the camera was off focus, or that you missed your mark, or that the boom is in the shot. And so you really have to learn how to work with these components and get confident in them. And I think that that's what we do in our community. We allow people, because we're not, there's a lot of casting workshops that are so popular that actors just sort of dive into. But those stakes are high in those spaces, because whether you think it or not, you want to impress the teacher, because you think it's going to lead to a job. So you're already stepping into a place where you're setting high expectations, and there's a lot of fear in the room. And we say, there is no fear in this room. Come here and fail, because that's how you learn. And so that's the space that we provide. We're working actors just like you. You teach me as much as I teach you. There is no guru mentality, and we can all just come together and rise together.
All right, I'm getting goosebumps. This is great. This is all great advice. And if I'm tuning in, or if anyone tuning in right now, obviously they want to get some great advice from the both of you, or you've got me sold. I want to either learn more about Put Me on Self-Tape or the Bridge for Actors. I'm definitely tuning into more of what you guys have to say. But it resonated with me when you said you have to be more. I guess you have to be more than just an actor these days. Just like if you want to be on television or you want to be on radio, you've got to learn everything about the business. For me, back in the day, I had a cameraman, and I had somebody who did lighting, and I had somebody who was taking care of sound. But nowadays, even if you want to be in television, you've got to know how to work your own camera, how to control your own lighting, how to write your own script. You've got to do it all. So it's not enough anymore these days, I guess, just to know how to be an actor. You got to know how to do everything in order to make you get that job. Am I correct?
Yeah. And you also don't know what you don't know. Since the medium has changed so drastically in the last 4 or 5 years, where now self-tapes are the norm. And even before, unless you were a reader, you didn't get to see other actors audition. So not only do you have to be in charge of all the tech, you need to know, you have to have a healthy mental state to be able to make sure that you're actually making a good tape. Because you used to go in and the casting director used to follow you around, or you had a cameraman that would follow you around. So, Anna and I have been putting together good tapes. I've been taping since 2007, before taping was even a thing. So I could get into rooms so they could see me, because they wouldn't. Right. So that was a tactic. And once you start working with the camera and seeing how you're telling story within the camera, then they can capture your talent. That's such a big thing that Anna has been so focused on for so long. And I've been playing with as well, to kind of like, how do we make this story come to life the best way? We want to make sure that when we're getting opportunities as actors, that we're putting forth the best opportunity. And again, you just don't know what you don't know. So when you get into a community and you're watching other actors work, like we work on the same set of sides, because that's how you learn the fastest. Like Natasha, if you started a tape and Anna and I started a tape, it's going to be wildly different, but the tools could be the same, right? So if I see you do something, oh gosh, I have permission now to do that. Oh, I didn't know. So I can make a better tape. And that does make us better actors. As much as there's resistance to this taping world, if you are a working actor who has not gotten enough set experience, your hours could be put in from your self tapes. That's what's getting you on set now. Now they trust you. They can see you. They can see, oh, they know how to work with a camera. So that's our calling card. That's our resume now, is our self tapes.
So that's
Yeah,
such
I
a
just
great
want
point.
to
Yeah.
piggyback off what Alyshia said because, I've always been a tech savvy person. I love tech. I spent 3 years researching how to light my studio so I could teach you how to do it in 20 minutes. Okay, so I did all the work for you. And the thing that always gets me is the amount of creative blocks that actor place in themselves, telling themselves stories like, I only book in the room. Why do I have to learn lighting? Why do I have to do this? It is part of your craft to understand tech. George Clooney, Brad Pitt, these people who spend a ton of time in front of camera can tell you the difference between lenses and how they need to move within that frame. That's your job now. You don't get to learn on set because production costs are trimming down and they don't have a lot of time to luxuriate. So in your self tapes, you are practicing those 10,000 hours that it takes to make a professional. So it's not, an added thing that now I must do. It should be something that sparks your curiosity. How can I make this entry different? How can I use my frame and be more dynamic? Once you get over that tech hurdle, it actually unlocks your creativity. And so my mission in life has been, let me help you stop with the tech leaks so that you can actually see how much fun it will be again.
Okay, so let's start with the fun. I love all of the information you're providing us. So I guess also what I'm hearing is self tapes are here to stay then, right?
100%. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
That's why we're putting so much importance on it because of COVID, I mean, it made it easier for actors to audition from anywhere in the world. But now when I guess casting directors realized, hey, this is great, we're going to keep doing it, we need to perfect it. So what are some tips that you can give us as actors in order to work on and maybe submit a better self-tape that maybe we're not doing?
I would like to say that as somebody who transitioned from theater to TV, there was a lot of misinformation about movement in front of camera. I can't tell you how many times people have been like, it's all in the eyes. You must be all in the eyes, make it intimate. But that is just not true. Your movement is dictated by your relationship to camera. And you just have to practice and learn that, right? This is a visual medium. I think I spent the majority of 2 years auditioning being like this, because I was afraid of movement and I'm going to put it all in my eyes. And that just created tension in my body. Like, we do gestures all the time when we speak, so we shouldn't be afraid of movement. And that's why guided practice is so important, because we are able to sit here and say, okay, I can see that you have some tension right now. Let's help you sort of in incremental steps get comfortable in front of camera. And that requires consistent practice, because until you get comfortable in front of camera, we won't see who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Alyshia, you were saying that some people wouldn't even see you until you perfected your self-taping techniques. So what did you change?
Well, let me say it this way. I was a new actor to Los Angeles. I had no credits to my name. So when you're starting out, whether you're 20, 40, 60, 18, doesn't matter. Your ability to get opportunities comes from your reputation, whether what's something that you've done, or your agents and managers' reputation, because they're able to get you that opportunity. So either you're doing plays, you're doing viral videos, you're doing something, casting sees you. Your agents and managers' relationships with casting directors, also, they're going to call and be like, I've got this new person, blah, 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 blah. They're pitching. But if you don't have anything substantial yet, then casting only has, especially at that time, maybe 50 slots that are 25 even, because this is when we would go in the room. So they didn't know me as an actor. So I wanted to show, here I am as an actor. So that's why I started self-taping. Once they saw, oh, okay, she can act, then they would give me an opportunity to come in and do it. So here's what I think. I think one of the tips that I think people really kind of mistake in the process of their business as an actor is they start off and they're like, I need an agent and manager, or I need to be the lead on this film. I'll say it right now. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. My ego. I was like, I'm going to be on a TV show tomorrow.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the responsibility and the going up the stairs. So the thing that I think is really important especially nowadays, it's actually better now. Everybody's self-taping. So if you're just starting out, how wonderful. If you've come out of conservatory, how wonderful you can go learn how to self-tape now your craft. But you have to really focus on the easiest pathway, right? So the co-star audition, so many people blow that off. They're like, oh, it's only 4 lines. It's 4 lines. It's no big deal. Like, I'm just going to say these lines. Oh my gosh, your job as an actor is to create a world, show a point of view, please show a point of view, and you still have to arc this. That's the hardest audition. So I think you need to start practicing what your responsibility is in every single level of the opportunity you're trying to seek. So co-star, guest star, series regular. There's a reason why you watch people's careers go up the stair. We call it the staircase. Nobody's jumping landings. There's no overnight successes. So I think that's kind of the thing that people get messed up in at the beginning of their career is setting baby steps, understanding how to, what is required of you as a working actor.
Yeah, the stamina that it takes.
The stamina that I've heard you both talk about this staircase theory. Can you explain it? Because I love it because it's fascinating and I love it. I mean, I think I've heard you, Anna, talk about the staircase theory, and I think every actor tuning in should hear this.
Well, we garnered this information. Nick Cassavetes, I had the privilege of working with him a couple of times, and he pulled me aside once and he was like, listen, kid, you know the secret to acting. He's like, it's just going up the stairs. It's not jumping. It's like every stair is a new opportunity, a new nuance. Meryl Streep is still going up her staircase. And I was like, my mind was kind of blown. And Anna and I have talked about that for a long time. And we started to integrate it into our practice because we want to be able to measure something. As an actor, so much stuff feels out of control. And we want to be like, oh, I'm going to be the lead of that film. I'm going to be on this television show.
Series regular.
I'm going to be a series regular.
We wish.
We get discouraged.
Yeah,
we
for
immediately become a mental health crisis in the moment. Then we're not available for that great co-star that might turn into a reoccurring, that might turn into a guest star. So we like to put in tangible goals and ascend. Right? So where are we going next? There's this, I can let Anna explain this, but there's this great little thing that talks about being unconsciously unskilled. You don't know what you don't know. Then you become consciously unskilled. Now you know you don't know anything. Like, oh, wait, I didn't know how to light my setup. Or, oh gosh, I don't know how to handle a co-star audition. Series regular, I don't even know what this responsibility is. Okay, now we become consciously skilled. Now we're like, okay, I know I need to do X, Y, and Z, and it's clunky, and we're figuring it out. We want to get
trying on the tools.
Yeah. Then we want to get to, Meryl Streep's at that unconsciously skilled level.
Right.
She is doing things, but still she's going up the staircase. So when we teach, we like to come from a place of what did you do well? What did you set out to do that we can measure? It's never like, I want to get this job. Okay, we can't control that. But you know what? I want to make sure my eye lines are good on this, or I want to make sure that my relationships good, or I discovered this. Can you measure that? Oh, great. You did good. Great. Did you get called back into that office? Okay, great. We're going up the staircase. There's a repetition of validation. So small incremental growths will keep you in the game. We want to keep you in the game.
And it's also motivating because you can see, like, you started off on step number 1, and then when you look back, you're on, step 25, and you're like, look at everything that I've accomplished and how I've grown as an actor. I think that's such an empowering
because then we can only focus on one thing at a time. And I think that that's also like a really big trap that actors fall into. It's like, I want to make the perfect self-tape. Well, the perfect self-tape, A, doesn't exist, but B, a good self-tape, a book-worthy self-tape has a ton of steps into it that you can continually focus on to get better and better. And so that's why we're like, what's your one intention? It might just be eye lines for a whole month. Can I make my eye line and the relationship clear in terms of what the story is asking for? Great. Now you've gotten that. Now let's think about activating your frame. Great. You might spend 2 months there, and you will continually shift based on like what you understand as you go up the staircase. New tools will start to unlock. But having this like general idea, that's a landing that you're trying to jump, and you're going to fail more as opposed to implementing quick wins. that are that just keep you excited and curious and motivated.
So I think the biggest step right now is kind of like figuring out the tech and getting, your self-tape started and trying to perfect the lighting and the eye levels and, everything. And then it comes to when you're actually reading for scenes, because you can be really good at a specific scene, but then you're asked or challenged to do a scene that maybe is out of your comfort zone. So in both of your opinions, how do you make the transition, or what do you think is most difficult when it comes to scenes and self-taping? Is it like drama, comedy, one-liners? Can you
I'm
explain?
going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm going
Okay,
to
go
talk about
ahead.
this because we created a course in our course program called Mind Your Script, specifically for auditions. I don't think that there's a difference in genre. I think that traditional actor training trains us to be dependent on the director, because in theater, the director is the one that's shaping story. And as an actor, all we can really luxuriate on is making interesting character choices that then the director shapes to whether or not it fits in the arc of the story. So we actually aren't really independent in theater training.
Mm.
Self-tapes requires you to be independent. It is story focused, and every actor that I coach doesn't know how to look at the script in that way, which is why I created this course. It's actually all on the page. A lot of actors overwork their sides because they're like, let me make an interesting character choice that makes me stand out. And that's actually the trap. What the TV producers, the film, the director, they need somebody who's going to service the story. Can you find the turn in the scene? Do you understand how you help or don't help the protagonist, the lead? Because it's not about you. And
Mhm.
once you do that, then your essence and your point of view can make it stand out, because the way I do it will never be the way that Alyshia does it. But until you don't learn how to read that script, you can cut your prep time in half. It's so easy. TV is formulaic.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the only tag I'm going to put on that is, this is not personal. Stop making it about you and every actor and every audition. We're like, this is the audition that's going to break my career. No, it's not. I'm telling you right now. No, it's not.
Right.
This is the audition that's going to give you more hours of understanding story. This is the audition that's going to help you understand if you're a good fit for the story. Are you going to be selected for this story? So really, truly, I think your own mental health gets in your way. So like, we've developed so many courses to actually help you in the audition process, help you get through it, and then also back you up to like get you on set and character development. A lot of actors, we use this analogy all the time, and I love this. They want to decorate a house before they've even figured out what house they're living in.
Oh,
So
that's
what
great.
is the story? I
Right.
love character. I built a character course that we have in Bridge for Actors. I love it. I lead a lot of films. A lot of character development is necessary, but I need to know the house that I'm decorating first. I need to know what story I'm in first. So that's where people kind of skip over it. And then the mental health part of it. This isn't about you. It's selection, not rejection. Here's a puzzle, and you've made a piece that doesn't fit the puzzle. So make sure that you're creating your puzzle piece that could be selected to fit. And if it doesn't, onward to the next one. We cannot implode.
Okay, so your advice, how do you shake it off then? How do you shake it off once you've submitted your self-tape? Because back in the day when we used to audition in person, or we used to get in-person auditions, at least there would be other people in the room. At least you would kind of like, I guess, talk with them, maybe get a little bit of feedback, at least kind of feel the room and see whether they liked your audition or not. But now that we're self-taping, we're just sending it out and we have no feedback, right? So,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that anxiety of the unknown, or not having anybody around, or not having anybody to bounce off of, or not even getting an indication whether you did something right or wrong?
I love this topic. Talking about this for years on Mike on That One Audition. I talk about the recovery zone a lot. But I want to start with the validation loop being broken to what we're used to. We as actors used to go in the room and we were seeking to get the casting director's approval because we've made them the gatekeepers. And if they were like, okay, thank you, we would implode, right? Because, oh my God, we didn't get redirected. Okay, thank you. Does that mean I did a good job or a bad job? I don't know. And then you would do the windshield. I call it the windshield audition all the way home. Like you'd be replaying your audition right
Yes.
into the windshield, being like, oh, I should have said it like this. No, I should have done
Right.
this. Da, da. I love self-taping because now we can watch it back and be like, oh no, I did say that right. Or, oh, I missed that beat. Let me tape it again. The thing that part of our recovery that we teach is part of our mental health. So Anna and I, when we're teaching class, that's why we ask, what's your intention? And then when you're done taping it, you can look at it and be like, did I hit those intentions? Great. I'm going to send this tape off. So now your validation loop is inside yourself. Did I hit the marks that I needed? And then our validation loop is not on if we get the job now. It needs to be, somebody in the chat said, are you getting called back into the same casting director's office? You've done your job. Validation loop closed. There we go. But also, I also want to honor, it sucks. It sucks sometimes to really put everything, your heart and soul, into this opportunity, into this audition, into this character, into this story, and not be selected. We're human beings, we're vulnerable. So you have to give yourself a recovery process. Sometimes I will do a debriefing. I will breathe it out. I will call a friend, phone a friend. I will give myself an allotted amount of time to feel feelings about it. In our practice track, our component that goes with our membership, we realized how much actors need that support. So we have sessions, weekly sessions. We call them RISE sessions, where you can come reflect, get inspired, get support, be empowered, and elevate your status. But I consider that a recovery zone. Like I call it kind of like AA for actors. Come in, have a moment, give yourself some time and space to process your feelings as an actor. But Anna and I, when we're coaching now, we try not to ask you how you're feeling, because how you're feeling is fleeting. And it should process, and feelings should move through you. But what did you discover? So we're trying to change the language, and we're trying to also provide you support, because nobody should do this alone. When you get on set, you're not doing it alone.
Right, right. So obviously, because I'm listening to you and you are all both a wealth of information and knowledge, but I guess all of this is what you would have liked to have known when you first started off in the industry. But what are some things that you would have liked to have known now that you know this? I guess I shouldn't even ask this because this is it, right?
Well, there's a lot of mental things that I wish I would have known, in terms of, like, for me, the biggest lesson is that no one person holds the key to your success. And when you're starting out, you sort of are looking out to be like, who is the one person that's going to help me? And you make yourself really prime to exploitation, to
Mhm.
getting in the hands of the wrong coach who's going to really destroy your self-esteem and not build you up, to getting a scam for this thing that's promising a fast track, easy way to sort of book your series regular. And we don't sell that. That's not where we stand, right? We focus on education, consistent practice, support, and guidance and mentorship so that you can be empowered. All of our careers are going to be vastly different, and not one person has the path to success. Sure, do I want that? Yeah, wouldn't it be great if somebody had it? But
Yeah.
that's just not reality. So that was one of the biggest lessons that I wish I had starting out.
Yeah, and I think just it's a long game. Like I really truly cannot, I don't care how old you are when you're starting this process, just like any career, it takes time. And I think the investment needs to be on who you want to work with, how you surround yourself around other creatives, and how you nurture not only your relationships with other creatives, but how you nurture your own relationship with your creativity. So many people at the beginning of their career, including myself, I'm going to get this agent that's going to do everything for me. I'm going to get this manager. And then we offload our responsibility onto our agent and manager, thinking that they're going to have the keys to everything. I say this all the time because I consult actors as well. If your agent or manager has 30, 40, 50, 100 people on their list, can you think about 100 people in a day? Now you are taking your whole career, your whole heart, your passion, and you're putting it on somebody's plate that they can think about you twice a week. It's a business for them too. Take responsibility for where you want to go, and figure out where those baby steps are to get there, and invest in that.
I love this. This is one of my favorite working actors. I promise you. This is so informative. A lot of people are asking how to get more information from the both of you. I believe Emily, our producer, is sending a link in the chat, thebridgeforactors.com. You can check that out. So the both of you came together. You didn't know each other prior to living in LA?
No, I love this story. Bridget Regan, dear friend, amazing actress, came, and at that point I was doing interviews in my house. Bridget and I were also in class together, and I always ask people on that one audition, how do you get into character? What is your best audition tale? What is your best tool to assist you to doing this career? And Bridget was like, I always go and tape with Anna before I go into the room. And this was pre-COVID. This is 2019. And I was like, oh my God. And I love picking up stuff. And I'm like, great. What a great idea. Before you go into the room, go practice with somebody to see, how does this look on tape? So when you walk into a room, you can take ownership over that room. Okay, I want the camera right here. I'm going to do this. Da, 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 da. And Bridge is a smart actor.
Right.
So I think it was maybe a few months later, I had an audition and I was like, I'm going to go run and play with Anna and see how this goes before I go in. And we had a great working relationship from that point forward. I think that tape, I don't want to say, well, it did book. I passed on it, but like we booked that tape and it was fun to see how somebody else is like really working with stuff. And honestly, at the end of the day, I really think I'd been looking for a long time too on how to support other actors in their auditions. Obviously, that one audition, it's 90% of our job. And it's a totally different muscle than being on set. Some of the great actors, when they have to go back and audition now, are fumbling all over the place. It's a very stressful situation. So I loved that we could combine both of our knowledges to come together that way. But that's
And I
fun
just wanted to piggyback because the best thing that I could have done for my career is put me on self-tape because I knew that I was a good coach. But when I got to work with actors like Bridget Regan, who was in a series regular in Jane the Virgin, has been in John Wick, was Poison Ivy on the CW, who has extensive TV experience, and I was watching her work in front of camera, I was able to start codifying what wasn't taught to me in school. And there was a special moment where I was doing an audition and she did a hair flip and I was like in behind camera, I was like, oh, that is so dope, like so good. And then she did it every single take. And I was like, wait, that gesture is attached to story. And it was like a light bulb because prior to that, everything I heard was be still, tell the story. And I'm like, that's just not true. And then it just opened up a new pathway of how to work. And then I started booking off self-tapes. So I'm like, so now it's working for me. Let me teach it to others. And so now our students and our members are booking off their self-tapes. So I know it's possible because I made the change and I practice what I teach all the time.
Yeah, we practice all the time. We learn that's why we call it community-based learning. We have amazing working actors in this community. I'm blown away weekly by them. And again, our instruments are different. So we do not come from a mindset of, this is my process and I'm not going to tell anybody else because they're not going to be, I don't want them to take what is mine. What is for you will find you. I really truly believe that. I really truly believe in sharing the tools. I want to know what helps you. That's why I ask everybody that comes on the podcast, what tools are you using? Who are you coaching with? It's always fun to explore. You should be always finding new tools to put in your toolbox. So when you get an audition, you can go to your toolbox. When you get a role, be like, ooh, I need a hammer. Ooh, I'm going to take these nails and I'm going to make this audition everything that is exciting for me.
Right. I feel like we're getting a masterclass today. I feel like this is a life coaching session as well, because it can apply to anything that you do in your life, right? Even if you're not acting or you want to apply to something else or another career path, this is just great advice. We touched upon the thing about like being an actor. Obviously, the role of an actor has changed drastically throughout the years. What used to be required of you as an actor back in the day is so different now. And I applaud the both of you for kind of not being selfish with your knowledge and coming together and saying, no, let's share this so that we can help the community become better actors. So do you feel that you've applied what you know to both of your careers and you're better actors for it as well?
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%, which was something that I discovered when I was teaching in grad school. Anytime I'm in the presence of somebody and I'm helping them with story, it just deepens my relationship to story and how easily I can digest a script. I've put those 10,000 hours plus of practicing because I have been working. You elevate in community. I was recently diagnosed with ADHD. So to me, having accountability and body doubling is important to me, or else my focus is not there. I hyper focus when I'm in relationship to other people. And I also realize that that's the space that we're creating, is to also feel safe for people who are neurodivergent and don't learn the way that you're taught to learn. Right. So that's why community is such an important foundation of our membership. And our courses are developed so that they're bite-sized, so that they're digestible, they're organized in a way that you don't get lost. There's quick wins embedded in each module. So again, it keeps you on that same staircase mentality.
Okay.
Yeah. And I truly believe, look, I've had the responsibility of being a lead as a film since 2009. I've done like 30, 40 films. I love making films. I love working with new storytellers. But nobody teaches you even how to get on set. That's why we really emphasize the working actor. Because even if you're auditioning a ton, right? And we like want to get on set. And then as an actor, you get on set and then you're like, wait, now what do I do? Because I've been focusing in conservatory, they were teaching me everything about craft. And then I've been just auditioning. So now what do I do? So we really want to bridge you. When I got my first lead in 2008, I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. I didn't know the responsibility. I didn't know how to piece things together. So we have courses too now, like what happens when you book it? Now what? Now what do we do? So we really took this whole process and put it in together so you never feel alone in this. And because we've done this, like every time I get on set now, I do the things that I tell you to do when you book something. That's why I'm continuing to work over and over and over again, because of those relationships and how you break out a whole entire scene. A couple of our community members have had the great responsibility of leading films. One just won the Leo Award, and it was her first lead of a film. And we worked on it, how to break it down, how to work so that her talent showed up. So it was a consistent performance. So she arced her performance so beautifully and she killed it.
Paid off.
If she killed it.
Congratulations. Well, that's a testament to the both of you, right? Let's get to the Q&A.
Can I answer this question with Amanda Caron?
I was just going to ask that question. How do you go ahead?
Okay, so this is a perfect example of how we take holistic training and implement mindset into a teachable moment, right?
Okay, hold on.
So
question.
Do you have any advice on making a slate magnetic? So when I read this question, what I'm hearing is a result-oriented question. You want your slate to be magnetic, not understanding that the purpose of a slate is just to get information. You don't need it to make magnetic. There is no choice that you must make in order to like stand out for the crowd. That's not what the slate is for. The slate needs for you to say your name, your height, and just give an essence of who you are. Are you somebody that I want to spend 12 hours on set with?
That's it.
And that's all it takes. And a lot of the reason why people freak out is because your relationship to camera is that you don't feel comfortable yet just showing up as yourself, right? We get to hide a little bit when we're in character because all of a sudden our focus is different. It feels very vulnerable to stand there in front of camera and just say, hi, my name is Anna, I'm 5'6", I live in LA.
Right.
It takes a lot of practice, which is why we are asking you to practice getting in front of camera, create a slate library so you don't have to redo the wheel all the time. Make it fun. It's okay to make a little joke if that's part of your personality. You know, sometimes I'm like, there's my full body.
Yeah.
Okay, but to add to Amanda's question, could there ever be a chance where someone looks at your slate and they're like, oh, who's this person? That's exactly who we're looking for. And it's because of the way you slated?
Well, two things I think we need to address here. Exactly what Anna said. Slate is for information. Slate is also used for like, if you are playing, if your character is
it's like a villain or
a serial killer, or, we can deem all kinds of really things. They want to see that you're not that person. That's it. Okay. That's what
Okay.
Anna means by like, do we want to spend 12 hours with you on
Okay.
set? Like, oh,
That's
okay, this
great.
person's so the slate is just like, can you just exactly look at camera, say who you are? Funny things have happened before in slates, and I keep it in. They're getting my personality, just like if I was in the room. A slate is getting to know you. We don't need to oversell it. Also, do not try and put jokes in it. Don't do cartwheels. Don't do anything weird. The slate is not to get attention. The slate is an invitation to who you are. That's it.
Okay. Good advice. Okay, let's get to Eileen's because she has this question that I think would be great for you to answer. I keep getting submission requests consistently, predominantly from the same 3 casting directors, but I haven't booked anything with them yet. How do I make them book me? I'd say every 3 to 5 of my submission requests come from 3 specific casting agents, and I don't get signed.
Eileen,
Okay.
you're in a wonderful space if you
Yes,
have
you are.
3 fans in the industry who are constantly giving you opportunities to show up to the work. So that's the mindset reframe that I want her to know that she's not failing. The thing that I will say is there's a lot of misunderstanding, and I didn't learn this until I got into the ABC showcase. There are 3 hurdles that you need to jump. The casting director doesn't make the choice. The casting director calls you in. You have to clear the hurdle of producers and then clear the hurdle for network. So at the end of the day, casting isn't making a decision. And there are business decisions being made at those top levels that have nothing to do with your talent or nothing to do with how you can make something stand out in order to make them book you. Because relevancy in the industry, and this is why holistic training, you must understand the landscape of the industry so you don't implode and think that you're constantly doing something wrong. I could have the best tape, but if who's a Latina actress, right? If Eva Mendes decides that she wants to do the role because she's bored and wants to do it and will do it at a rate that they can afford, are they going to pick me or Eva Mendes? They're going to pick Eva Mendes. And I can't take that personally and be like, I could have done something better. No, I'm very confident in the tapes that I submit. And so I can let them go and move on to the next one. This is no one, and this is why we say no one audition is going to change your career. I went viral for the rehearsal. I'm still auditioning for co-stars sometimes. That's just where we are right now.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, you're in a really great place, Eileen. What I would say is take your focus off of trying to book that room. Now start a new thread of a new relationship with another casting office. So I always give myself goals every year. Okay, these 25 casting directors know me. These 3 don't. So how about for this quarter, I'm going to talk to my team and be like, "Hey, let's see what's going on with like Ava, like let's see what's whoever, anybody, pick somebody that I want to get in front of." And that's what we focus on is like, even a small role, can I get in front of her? You're in a really great position. I went into a room once before. It was, I don't know, NCIS Los Angeles. I had been in that for them 27 times. And they said to me, "It's great that you always just show up and do the work." And I said, "Thanks. That's my job." Like wasn't insulted. And I still didn't book. I think it was like the 34th time that I went in for them. I finally got the job. The consistent,
Wow.
they're calling you in, that validation loop, you've secured it. You're in a good spot. Don't implode, Eileen. Don't implode.
Okay, I think both of you can help David out because he's addressing the staircase analogy, and I think it speaks to what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
He says, does it ever feel like you're moving down or back a step? And if that's a part of it, it kind of gives you a blow to my ego. So can you speak to that on how to handle that? And it's kind of like what you guys are saying, you've auditioned for, 34 times and she's gone viral and she's still not booking the roles that she wants to. So can you help David on how he can heal his ego when he's taking a step back?
David, great question. And the thing that when we talk about the consciously skilled, the unconsciously skilled, you're going to spend a lot of time sort of oscillating between trying on the tools, perfecting it, and going back and the tools feeling clunky again, because that's part of the learning process. That's why we spend so much time curating and supporting mindset and getting us to feel comfortable when we quote unquote fail. Because when we fail, it's actually the moment right before you jump that hurdle. And the thing is that our brains are so wired to stay in the failure mentality, and I don't know why, that we don't recognize the wins. And you might be 25 steps up the staircase, but until you see, and that's why we love that our community has people of different levels, because once you've been in there long enough and then somebody new steps in, it's a good reflection of like, oh my God, I remember when I had no idea where my eye lines were, and look how far I've come.
Yeah. And I also just, the staircase analogy is what we use because you're always ascending. There's different ways of looking at this career we call acting. Peaks and valleys. That's why on that one audition, I don't interview anybody unless they've had at least 10 years experience. We will always go up and down. Creativity, look at it like the seasons. You will have winter. You have to rest. You have to hibernate before you can come back out. Also, you have to understand the business. Look at Matthew McConaughey. He was doing Rom-Com Central and he was making 20 million a project. He didn't want to do that anymore. You know what happened? He didn't work for 2-3 years until he did Dallas Buyers Club, and then he did True Detective, and it was all this. So there is a change. We change as people. We change as artists. I don't think we ever slide down the staircase. What slides down the staircase is our ego. There's been several roles. I just did a movie and they called and they were like, well, we didn't know if you would want to do it because you're not the lead. I said, that's not why I'm an actor. I'm here to service the story. This is a really interesting role for me. So we always have to make sure that when you're going up the staircase, we're talking about your craft and your talent. Nobody can ever take you down the staircase of your craft and talent. That is something they cannot take that away from you. Relevancy in the business. Yes, you're going to have to become aware of your relevancy in the business. When Anna did HBO, the rehearsal, her relevancy went up for that time. People knew who she was. She was getting more opportunities. Okay. Same thing. When I did True Detective, your relevancy goes up for a little bit. Then it comes back down because somebody else has a bigger show that's going on right now. And then you wait. I wait. I call it surfing too. You catch a wave, you ride that wave for as long as you can, and then you're back at the shore. Just know you're going to catch another wave. We just have to wait. That's our ego though at play. That's not our craft and talent.
This has been incredible. I think the both of you should be like touring across North America.
Well, we don't have to tour because we put it all in our courses, Natasha.
You're right.
We can't be everywhere all at once, but you can have us in your back pocket, literally 24/7. Our courses has an app attached to it. And look, I'm a minority. I was born in Venezuela. I'm an immigrant. I want to make training especially accessible to actors of color. If we just gave you a discount code so you can own our library of courses for $88 a month for 12-month payment plan. Y'all, I'm telling you, yay, Venezuela, hey. So, we want you to have this information. So please take advantage of it. Our tech has lighting, so you can make your lighting look amazing. Framing, we teach you how to edit so that you don't have to pay people to edit your reel. We also have like a thing on editing. And I haven't memorized for an audition for the last 3 years. I use teleprompters. So I have a teleprompter course that teaches you how to specifically use it for your auditions. Like, these are all practical things that you need. Like, you just need them. So I want to make sure that everybody has access to it.
Yes. And Cruz was asking, Cruz, yes, we do privately coach as well. But since Anna and I are both working actors, we also are available. That's why we put it into the courses. So if we're not available because we're working, it's all right there. Literally,
the Mind Your Script course is like me coaching you on how to break down a scene.
Yes, we've got everything. And then building a character and then getting on set, comedy classes. Comedy's got its own thing. We teach comedy different than anybody else does. Really, at the end of the day, what I want every actor that's listening to this to know and understand, you don't know what you don't know. As soon as you get the tools, you can practice those. Stay in a community that is fostering your creativity. When you are new to create something, you need to be precious who's around you, because you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. This is a learning process. So get in a guided practice, so you're ready to hit the ground running. We want to empower you. You are not dependent on us to be amazing working actors, but we can give you a lot of tools to help sustain you to go to the next level. So put your emphasis and your excitement on you and what's available to you, what's accessible to you. Yeah, and it's in the US dollars. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Anna LaMadrid and Alyshia Ochse, you guys are fabulous. We would love to have you back on The Working Actor because this really is a masterclass that we are so fortunate to have had today. The Bridge for Actors is an innovative online actor training program. It's founded by these two fabulous women, and it's designed to help you go from a student actor to a working actor, and obviously perfecting your skills and sharpening your craft and helping you get through that audition process that is sometimes so anxiety driven, but they're going to help you get through it. So I really encourage you all who are tuning in to check them out. More information about the Bridge for Actors. They're also on social media, on Instagram, and obviously we have the link in our chat box if you want to find out more about them. I wish we had more time to keep on talking, but we would love to have you back. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you,
Buchanan.
Natasha.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ladies. This was so much
Natasha. This
fun.
was so fun. I appreciate you doing this and
I
everybody that
appreciate
came.
Oh no, we appreciate the both of you because this has really been a gift to anybody who is listening today, because you really have given us so much information. And like I said, you can apply it to anything you do in life, right? Whether you're acting, whether you want to go out for another job, or you want to change careers, this is really great life coaching skills. So thanks so much for this. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thank
one.
you. Thanks to Emily Buchanan, who's the voice behind the scenes.
Thank you,
And
Emily.
yeah,
Thanks, Emily.
we'll be back with another working actor next week. But until then, check out Alyshia and Anna at The Bridge for Actors. Thanks so much, ladies.